Good morning. My name is Linda Steck, and I'm the classroom teacher here at Offhand Children's Center. We're having this meeting today to discuss evaluations and assessments conducted with Eli Hooper and to make programming decisions based on their results. Eli started attending Offhand Children's Center in August of 2017. This is his first group placement. He is now 5 years, 2 weeks old, and will be eligible for public school kindergarten in September of 2018. He attends this program 36 hours a week. Our group size ranges from 12 to 16 with 3 to 4 adults in attendance depending on the day, all preschool-aged children. Eli presents with severe articulation issues, substituting some consonants and dropping some others. This, combined with his rapid rate of speech, has severely impacted his intelligibility. After a recent speech referral by his physician, he now receives speech therapy 3 times a week here at the center. Eli was referred for special ed services in November after classroom observations indicated academic skill inconsistencies, extreme behaviors, lack of attention, and problems with social interactions. For example, Eli could recite the alphabet by rote and count to 14, but could not count with one-to-one correspondence above 5. He could not remember how many spaces to move in a board game, even when told the number repeatedly. He practiced writing his name every day and would say letters out loud as he wrote, but if asked the name of each letter independently, he cannot answer. Eli had multiple tantrums daily for a variety of reasons, including when he did not get his way, when he was told he had to wait his turn, when he was asked to comply with a direction, or when he was asked to clean up. Eli is very social and interested in peers, but does not have the verbal social skills to initiate, respond, or sustain meaningful interactions. He would use aggression for all these purposes. Staff worked with Eli in Tier 1, 2, and 3 RTI activities. These are activities that get increasingly more individualized to help build social skills through direct instruction and practice, modeling, the use of social stories, and prompting in the classroom. Eli follows a verbal model 40% of the time, but still tantrums 60% of the time when given directions. He has not generalized practice skills with peers. In November, Eli was administered the Early Screening Inventory Revised, which can identify individuals at risk for learning problems. Part of the screening includes a parent questionnaire which Eli's primary caretaker, his great-grandmother, completed. This included a medical history and list of behaviors observed at home. Of note is Eli's history of ear infections and subsequent surgery to address them. No aggression is reported at home. He is the only child living with 3 generations of single women, his great-grandmother, his grandmother, and most recently, his birth mother. The screening samples areas of development in visual motor and adaptive skills, language and cognition skills, and gross motor skills. One of 3 outcomes is scored: rescreen, refer, or OK, which are all self-explanatory. In the visual motor adaptive section, Eli was asked to draw a circle, triangle, cross, and square, and was able to do everything except the square. In the draw a person part, he drew eyes, mouth, arms, legs, and hair, but did not include a body enclosure. He had trouble with visual and auditory memory, where he had to reconstruct a sequence of 2 cars he had seen and remember a sequence of 2 or 3 spoken numbers. He was unable to do any of those. He could not copy a structure made of 5 blocks nor count a group of 10. He did recognize a group of 5 immediately when put on the table without counting them out loud. He had difficulty when asked the general question, "Tell me about this," when separately given a block, a button, a ball, and a car. He named the items, saying square for the block, but when asked for more information, he started playing with the items in random ways. Verbal reasoning was his strong point. He had to complete sentences which left out the final word. For example, brother is a boy, sister is a girl. He gave 3 correct responses, but when asked to complete the sentence, a table is made of wood, a window is made of, He replied, "Hada." He stood on each foot for 4 or 5 seconds, hopped on each foot twice, and was unable to skip even when it was modeled. Out of 28 possible correct responses, Eli scored a 9, placing him in the refer category. Given a confidence level of 95%, this can be considered a true score for Eli. However, it must be noted that during the screening, Eli was distracted by previous screening activities, would inquire where cards or objects had gone, would repeatedly ask what's next in the middle of an activity, and engage in random acts with the material, such as placing them on his head or trying to place them on my head, making strange noises with them, or placing them under the table. Given his age, both the score and his behaviors would warrant further investigation. He also had many articulation errors during the screening, but Eli now receives speech therapy to address these. In the classroom, I started daily letter identification work with Eli. During his first weeks, he had identified 14 letters. From November 9th through 27th, he took a weekly assessment to see if he was retaining what we were working on. In the 4 weeks, he remembered 5, 9, 8, and 6 letters in respective weeks, but they weren't always the same letters. And interestingly, none of the letters in his name were ones that he remembered. I also tracked the amount of time spent on self-chosen tasks to see what his general attention span was. So once a week for 4 weeks, I found that 49% of the time he spends less than 2 minutes on tasks. 43% of the time he spends 3 to 4 minutes, and only 18% of the time is spent between 5 and 6 minutes on self-chosen activities. I also tracked times he followed directions and discovered that he was unable to even repeat them, much less follow them, 95% of the time. Moving him to a quiet space and having him repeat the directions improved this percentage greatly to between 70 and 100% of the time. Given the scores on the test and classroom observations, I would recommend referral for Eli to specially designed instruction services provided by Child Development Services in the classroom. He may be attending kindergarten in the fall, and this will help better prepare him for the larger group experiments with larger academic expectations. Thank you.